Okay, here we are, part 3. I'm doing these in real short parts just because that way if you actually, say, decided to go get the pattern and follow along, that you can watch them step by step and not have to watch the whole video and stop and start and everything. Eventually, excitingly enough, I will have them edited into one video and go from there. So the next step is pinning your bias tape on. So I had to make some because I realized I didn't have any. This is your underarm seam. If later on you want me to show you how to make bias tape, I will, but for now, we're gonna go with the assumption that you have store-bought bias tape, and if you were like me and frequently skip pinning, don't do that here. Okay, here's one step that you definitely want to make sure you have plenty of pins. Alright, I've done one side already just because I wanted to make sure that the piece of bias tape I made was long enough, and now I'm going to do it on the other side. So you're going to go on the outside. I did press this while I was off camera. I opened up my inner seams, I pressed them. Now you have a couple options here. If you've got a serger, you can serge them. You can roll them over and stitch them down if you want and hide all the raw edges. I'm not doing that right now. You can take a pair of pinking shears, clip along them, and keep them from fraying. I'm just leaving them as is. It's a simple cotton summer dress. I'm not that worried about it. So what I'm gonna do is take my bias tape, take one end, and find the front or back. This is the top corner of your underarm, and we're going to be pinning all the way under and up the back. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Make sure you are on the outside of the fabric because you don't want to end up having to repin it or have your seam on the outside. I'm going to just start pinning. Alright, so all we're going to do is take and go around this curve. Hey, did you see what your sister needs? Hang on, I'm going to pin this. I'll be right back because one of my kids is calling me. Okay, sorry about that. I have twin 4-year-olds, so it's very frequent that I have to leave and go do something else. I also have a 12-year-old, so sometimes the world is ending.
There it is.
We're just going to continue going around. I know this is exciting, I'm sure, to watch me do this. From there, I will work on getting better camera views and things coming up. Tripods and real cameras and not my phone eventually. I will be doing a mask making video in the near future. Alright, so this is my last pin. I am at the end, so we have it pinned on the edge of our underarm seam. Alright, hang on one second, I am in need. Alright, sorry, we had a meltdown over a Lunchable. Hang on, more meltdown. Alright, meltdown averted by cold hot dog, actually. So, next we're going to sew this seam. If you're using store-bought bias tape, you will have a seam to follow. I don't, but again, I should hopefully be able to do this by this point in my sewing career. Always back stitch at the beginning if you are not trying to pull your threads out. Finding this fabric or this bed sheet as it started out at the thrift store was magical because it's like butter. It's beautiful. Couple of things. Always have your fabric scissors separate from any other scissors. I like a Ginger, but honestly, there's a lot of decent fabric scissors out there. Fisker makes some good ones. I don't know what my purple ones are. I'll have to look. I have a purple set that I got at Walmart. They work pretty well. Alright, so that's one side. Now I'm going to sew the other. After I stitch this, I'm going to pause the camera and I'm going to go iron my bias tape up. I'll show you where I'm going to do that. But until I have a little better setup, trying to move my camera around a lot to the ironing board and back over here and stuff, it's just kind of difficult. You can always comment on the videos as to what you want me to make. We will be doing this according to one of my followers. Very first comment I got, yay. She wants me to make a skirt. And so that will probably be our next tutorial, video, whatever. I may find a store-bought pattern. I may go online and find a free download. If I do, I will show you guys where I get it from, so you can download it yourself. Alright, so I now have both of my bias tapes done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go iron it with this up so that I can ultimately wrap this around and stitch it down to the inside, okay? So I'm going to pause you and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. So I have pressed over my hem and then folded it down onto the inside. So on the outside it looks like this, on the inside it looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and do a straight stitch. Pin, if you need to, pin it now. I'm going to not pin it and maybe regret it later, we'll see.
Got two of them at least. More to me. Are they?
As always, back stitch. You will notice I am using white thread. Actually, I don't even know that you can see what I'm doing. I don't know. That's better. Solely because I want to be able to show you guys on camera, and you know, if I did a lavender, it would match close enough that it'd be really hard to see. So hopefully you'll be able to see this when I pick it up. But another reason is ultimately so much of my supplies are currently at my work and not here. Okay, so there we have one side sewn. So you can see here is your outside. There's your inside. I tried to get pretty close to the edge. You can do just the width of your presser foot. I currently actually have a zipper foot on, so my foot's not very wide, so. Where am I? I'm lost in the fabric. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna stitch the other one.
Ah, I just got my ass shot. You know that. Taking Charlie at all. Oh, okay.
So what do you guys like to sew? That's what I'd like to know. Ultimately, I don't do a lot of regular clothes. I tend to do mostly costumes. You can look at my web page, which is monarch-creations@webs.com. You can also look on Facebook under Monarch Creations. I am tea, hence the tea time. Because this is your time with tea. Ooh, look at that. I told my daughter nothing could make me cool with jokes like these. Alright, so we have both sides done. And honestly, don't worry if it looks a little wonky, because the fact is that you are going to be, this is going to be in your armpit. And if it's your first time sewing, that's okay. Alright, so we have now, let me turn it right side out, our basic sheath with hemmed underarms. Alright, that is the end of video 3, and I'll be back and we're going to start working on the ruffles and the shoulder straps.